Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's another edition of the Nashville Native. I'm your host, Justin Hawkins, and welcome back to the show. If you're new, you can follow us along on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Make sure you follow or subscribe. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Anything you want to talk about Nashville sports, because here on the Nashville Native, I talk all things Nashville sports content. That's the Tennessee Titans, Nashville SC, Nashville Predators, or college football like Vanderbilt Commodores, if they're good, or, if just they need to be talked about, which they don't right now, or the Tennessee Volunteers, which they have a Capital One Orange Bowl coming up against the Clemson Tigers on Friday, so we'll get into that a little bit. But make sure you follow along, subscribe, so you can get all that Nashville sports content, and you don't want to miss out, because, there's really not a lot of shows out there that do what I do. Most podcasts or shows will cover just one aspect of Nashville sports, the Tennessee Titans, or the Nashville Predators, or the Nashville SC. But here on this show, I want to give you everything. I want to give you what you deserve, Nashville fans, or wherever you may listen. So, welcome to the show. Let's get started. We've got a good one for you. All right, so getting started, the Tennessee Titans have lost their fifth straight game. What a catastrophe this Tennessee Titans team has become. They started the season 7-3. Well, let's start back. They lost to the Giants, they lost to the Bills going 0-2, and then they went on a 6-1 run, becoming 7-3. That leads us to the Cincinnati Bengals. That started a 5-game losing streak, and that continued on Saturday, Christmas Eve, against the Houston Texans. If one thing Titans fans wanted, it was a Merry Christmas with the Titans' victory to get back in that AFC South lead and take control. But yet, the Tennessee Titans, without Ryan Tannehill and without Ben Jones, without Nate Davis, without Christian Fulton, they could not get the job done and lost 19-14 at home with a Malik Willis run offense. And it was a good show. It was a good half, to be honest. We did the first half. Like always, what are we always talking about on this show? A tale of two halves. They scored 7 points in the first half and 7 points in the second half. First quarter, third quarter, and that was it for the Titans. The Titans defense did just enough with their injury-riddled defense, and they could not stop them in the end. It was 10-7 going into half. Derrick Henry was running all over the place. He did not eclipse 100 yards until the second half, but he was very close, and he broke off the first touchdown of the game for a 48-yard run that made this game feel like it was going to be all the Titans all the time. And you know what? They just didn't run the ball enough. He finished 23 carries for 126 yards and a touchdown. In my opinion, if you're Malik Willis and you know that you're still a rookie and you still don't have full confidence in Malik Willis, run the ball. We talked about this last week. If I'm the quarterback of Malik Willis, I have confidence in Derrick Henry. If there's anything on this offense that I have confidence in, it's the running back. He's one of the best in the game for a reason. Okay, if I'm the head coach, if I'm the offensive coordinator, my play sheet says run Derrick Henry. That's the game plan. And I just felt like they got away from that too much. They tried to pass too much. Malik Willis went 14-23 for 99 yards. Okay, if you watch the game, he didn't have a lot of deep balls, and he just, he was almost 50% completion, which is not great. You do not want to see that out of a rookie quarterback. You got to give him some confidence. He wasn't comfortable in that pocket. Now, look, your offensive line is terrible. We talked about that all season, and it's really not even worth talking about anymore. Look, Dennis Staley looked like he was lost. This is his 14th game of the season, and yet he looked like he was lost. I'm sorry, that was his 15th game of the season, and he just looked like he was out of sorts, didn't know what's going on, got blown up a couple times. We call him the turnstile Dennis Staley for a reason, and that's what he did on Saturday as well. So the Tennessee Titans lost their fifth straight game. It's really sad. In my opinion, it feels like the team has really just checked out. It really feels like this team is checked out. Going back to the Cincy game, you go back to the Philadelphia game, and really after that, it just feels like the team has checked out. At that point, they were 7-5. Then they had the Jags, and then they had who else did they have? They had Houston. Who else? I'm missing somebody, but they can't beat good teams, and that's what it. And Houston's not even good. Houston has gotten, I wouldn't say hot because they've lost their last, they lost 9 straight before this one, but Houston was playing their best ball at the right time, despite the 1-12-1 record before the game, and now they were playing well enough through the air, through the ground. They were playing well enough to get by, and they just so happened to play a Titans team that was on the low. Okay, like I said, Ryan Tannehill was out. It came out last Wednesday, I believe, that Ryan Tannehill may be gone for the rest of the season. It's unlikely that he would play, even in the postseason, but here's one thing that's important to note. Ryan Tannehill has not gone on IR to this point, so there is still hope. And Mike Vrabel has said that there is still hope, and Ryan Tannehill is doing whatever he can to get back and play for this team. Because look, we said this last week. Technically, the Houston game doesn't matter. Technically, the Dallas game doesn't matter. The only game that matters is Week 18 in Jacksonville against the Jacksonville Jaguars that are on fire right now. They beat the New York Jets on Thursday. It was a pretty sad game. The Jets did nothing. They played Zach Wilson, and everybody knows Zach Wilson is not very good. He's very inaccurate. He doesn't make good decisions, and that was key as he got benched for a practice squad player on Thursday Night Football. And the Jags, I believe, only won 19-3. We can check the score for that. Yes, it was 19-3. So the Tennessee Titans are in a bad spot. They're playing Thursday Night Football in 2 days against the Dallas Cowboys, who just beat the Philadelphia Eagles, which was, I don't know who watched that game on Christmas Eve, but it was 40-34, and it was a pretty good game. All the way around. Philadelphia was missing their starting quarterback, Jalen Hurts. So, there was going to be some imbalance there. But still, Philadelphia played a really good game. They have a really good defense. But Dallas just showed up, and they played that much better. So what do you think they're going to come in and do to the Tennessee Titans that are minus Ryan Tannehill? Okay, are they going to play Malik Willis? He didn't have a great game. Okay, but I'm not going to say, look, he's a rookie quarterback. I'm not going to write him off just yet. But look, he started 3 games. And it's been a pretty bad showing, okay? Like I said, Malik Willis, 14-23, 99 yards. He threw 2 interceptions. The second interception we're really not going to count because that was just a Hail Mary attempt to end the game. It doesn't really matter. But he also ran 7 times for 43 yards and got the Titans' second touchdown of the game in that second half. So look, everybody knows he can run, but can he throw? Okay, he's got a really good arm. That's not a problem. But how accurate is he? And what is his thought process and decision-making in the pocket? And as it shows through 3 games, the Houston Texans twice and the Kansas City Chiefs, when it's time that he gets quarterback pressured, he doesn't know what to do. He scrambles. He makes, let's see. He was sacked, what? He was sacked 4 times, but he really could have been sacked much more because, like I said, that offensive line is terrible, but also he takes too much time in the pocket. As soon as the pocket breaks down, he goes into scramble mode. He'll run here, run there, try to make something happen. But look, our receivers are not healthy enough, and they're not good enough to get open as what he is thinking. Look, I don't know what he is expecting if it's something like Liberty University where he played in college, where he had all the time in the world. He could run wherever he wanted to and do whatever he wanted to. But here it's the NFL. You have to make smart decisions, and he's not making smart decisions. Okay, that second interception, look, I understand what he was doing. Traylon Burks was cutting in the middle, and he was open. But he did not see, Malik Willis did not see the linebacker checking up to have that initial coverage or that other coverage on Traylon Burks, in which, so it was it should have been in his peripheral vision, but he did not see that. I'm not even sure Ryan Tannehill would have seen it. We've seen him make decisions like that as well in this season. But, so that was the first interception, and that was one of the costly things of the game. Now, the other thing, Derrick Henry with this third or fourth straight game of a fumble. This has got to stop. In my opinion, I'm not saying Derrick Henry ruined this game for the Titans, and I'm not saying it's a combination of a lack of offense and a lack of Derrick Henry with that fumble. Okay, 2 interceptions. We're going to really just call it the 1 interception. But the 1 interception and the 1 fumble, you got to stop turning the football over. Obviously, this team is not getting the turnovers. They got 1 interception, and they got 2 last week. But they're not doing anything with those turnovers. Derrick Henry costly fumble once again, and that was I believe it only allowed Houston to get 3 points off of that. But Derrick Henry has got to stop turning the ball over. All right, so Derrick Henry has got to stop fumbling the ball. He's got to learn how to take care of the football. Look, this has not been a problem in his long Titans career. He's had one every now and then, but look, 3 straight games of a fumble, 2 against Jacksonville, 1 last week against the Chargers, and 1 this past week against the Houston Texans. They have been costly fumbles where they put the defense in very susceptible positions to allow points. Now, luckily, all the Texans got out of it was a field goal, but look, it's becoming a theme here with Derrick Henry. He's slowing down. He's getting older. He's not taking care of the football. But look, he's still running. Look, he got 126 yards. That's how you win. But here's the thing. Before this year, the Titans were one of the best in the league when they had over a 100-yard rusher. This year, Derrick Henry has had the most 100-yard rushing games in the league with 8. Okay, he had another one which made 8 on Saturday. But yet, the Tennessee Titans are now 7-8 with a losing record. This is the first time the Titans have had a losing record going into week 16 or week 17 since before John Robinson came here. Actually, I'm sorry, it was 2019 when they limped into playoffs with 9-7. So look, the Tennessee Titans, they've got to get their head on straight. They've got to figure out the injuries. And until they do that, this is really just a year that they're going to have to swallow and get over, because I don't believe that the Titans are going to do anything. Even if they make the playoffs, even if they win against the Jags in Week 18, they're really not going to get anything out of it, okay? I don't believe that the Titans will win their playoff matchup. Right now, I believe it looks like it's going to be against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, look, if they win the division, that's the only way they're going to get into the playoffs. And yes, it would be a home game, so there's always that. But the Titans are just injury-riddled. They look deflated, offense and defense. But Derrick Henry's the only thing, really, that you can look forward to week in and week out to see if he can get 100 yards. Because, look, at the end of the day, Derrick Henry is finishing up his prime years. If you don't believe that, I'm sorry for you to hear it. But look, Derrick Henry is ending in his prime, okay? He's going to be up for another contract here in a couple years. And it's probably going to be his last big contract that he'll ever have, okay? And because Derrick Henry is leaving his prime, he really, in my opinion, and I'm sorry, but he's going to have to go to another team because he deserves a Super Bowl ring. Look, I don't like saying that people deserve a ring because of their performance on the field. But look, Derrick Henry has been nothing but special in a Tennessee Titans two-tone blue uniform. And this team looks like they're going nowhere. If they're going to go anywhere, it looks like they're going backwards. Mike Vrabel, it's not that he's losing the team, but this team is so deflated. I think it all stems from the coaching staff of especially Todd Downing. This guy, look, he's brought nothing but negativity, especially after the Green Bay game. Okay, he gets drunk, drives home, gets a DUI, and ever since then, this Titans team has been completely different. I'm not saying that's the direct result, but look, everybody has been calling for Todd Downing to be fired all season long. The Tennessee Titans offense the last 2 years has been near the bottom of the league. Before that, with Arthur Smith, they've been top 10. Points per game, that's yards per game, that's rush yards per game. Now, look, Derrick Henry, you're always going to be one of the top teams in the NFL, especially because he's number 2 behind Josh Jacobs for the leading rusher in the NFL this year. But look, that's not good enough, obviously, because in years past, they've been doing enough in the passing game and with the defense to win those games when he gets over 100 yards rushing. And they have not done that this year. And look, it's just, like I said, it's just injuries. Now, you can't really judge a book by its cover with Malik Willis. Look, he's been thrown into the fire a few times this year. He's not done well, but everybody knew coming out of college that he was going to be a project, and that's exactly what he's been. But look, you have to remember, it's very important to remember, if you want him to be the future of the franchise, you've got to give him time. You've got to give him time to develop. Now, look, I will say this, though. He has proved that he's not an NFL starting quarterback just yet. Okay, if Ryan Tannehill comes back and he plays the last week of the season, I firmly believe that Malik Willis has shown you enough that you cannot rely on him to be your starting quarterback going into next year, whether you like it or not. Because if you do that, you have to understand that you're going to be going through a rebuild because you're not going to win very many games. Malik Willis needs 1 or 2 years more in order to develop. Now, I believe because Ryan Tannehill is under contract next year, that he needs to remain the Tennessee Titans quarterback. I don't think you go out and you spend a lot of money because of the restructure a couple years ago for last year for Julio Jones. Ryan Tannehill has been under contract and his dead cap money is so high that it's really not worth, or has not been worth it. It was going to be almost $60 million this year if the Titans got rid of Tannehill, and it's going to be moderate, maybe closer to $30 million if they get rid of him this year. But still, look, Ryan Tannehill needs to be your quarterback next year. You have to manage what it is because Tannehill has been right behind Steve McNair, if not right with Steve McNair, is the best Titans quarterback this franchise has seen. This guy has done enough. It doesn't matter if he's not passed for the most yards in the NFL or he's not MVP caliber like Steve McNair was, but Ryan Tannehill has done enough to warrant that he just needs a good offensive line and a decent receiver. If Traylon Burks can have a good uptick in his routes, if he can have a good uptick in his targets, and if he can stay healthy, then a good upgrade at wide receiver from year 1 to year 2 is good. But look, you got to get rid of Robert Woods. Even though he's been healthy, he does not look like the same Robert Woods that he was with LA, with Buffalo. So I think you got to get rid of Robert Woods. If you want to keep Nick Westbrook-Akine as your wide receiver 3, that's fine. Kyle Phillips has not been healthy this year, so you don't even know what you have in your slot. Okay, so it is what it is. The injuries are what they are, but you have to move forward. But it starts with the offensive line. Tannehill has not had time to throw this year. Maybe if he has had time to throw, he would find his open targets, if there have been. But he gets hit. If he doesn't get rid of the ball in the first 2 seconds, he's going to go down or he's going to have to scramble and throw it away. That's what been the case all season. But I think Tannehill has warranted and done enough that he can be the Titans starting quarterback next season and get this team back on track, but it all starts with that offensive line. And if he can stay healthy, because I firmly believe that his injuries are due basically to the lack of elite blocking, or good blocking, that is, behind Dennis Daly, Aaron Brewer. Ben Jones has been fine. Is he going to retire? He's had 2 concussions this year. You got Nate Davis, who's been kind of injured. You got a rookie right tackle in Nicholas Petit-Frere. So I think you're looking at a pretty new offensive line coming into next season. That's going to be through free agency, through draft, and maybe even trade if they have to go that route. But if you have a good offensive line, then maybe you should keep Derrick Henry, you keep Tannehill, and I think you run it back with that offense. But there's 3 positions that you have to get rid of. That's Robert Woods at receiver. Basically, wipe the O-line clean. Keep Petit-Frere because he's cheap. He's a rookie. He's going into his sophomore season. You keep Nate Davis, but you're going to have to re-sign him because he's coming up in his contract year. I believe Ben Jones is going to retire, so you're going to have to find something else at center. Corey Levin has done pretty good at backup center. And then you need a new left guard. Aaron Brewer just needs to go. Dennis Daly needs to go. Just cut your losses and start new. Okay? You're going to have a new GM, so there's going to be a lot of changes this year anyway, but you're going to have to get rid of Robert Woods. You're going to get rid of that O-line. And then the rest is on defense and cutting losses with that. But I think if that offense, they can keep Derrick Henry, keep Ryan Tannehill, get another receiver, and get some more O-line that is healthy, I think this team can get back on track. But the other position is offensive coordinator. You have to get rid of Todd Downing. If Todd Downing stays, I say we riot. Okay, that's just as a fan standpoint, but it is ridiculous that this guy still has an NFL job. At least as a high position such as an offensive coordinator. This guy just does not know what he's doing. He doesn't run Derrick Henry enough, or he doesn't scheme the right plays for the right personnel. Okay, I feel like he's not using Malik Willis to his capabilities. Let him run. What does the duo look like of Malik Willis and Derrick Henry? We didn't even get to see that really. Yeah, he got 43 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown that he got was a good scramble by him. It was not designed like that, but have some quarterback draws. He likes to run, so you use him. A good duo, they can complement each other of Derrick Henry and Malik Willis. But that's not how he was used on Sunday. Maybe we'll see him being used like that on Thursday against Dallas. But it's going to be a big challenge coming up on Dallas. Ryan Tannehill will continue to be out. Hopefully we can see him in Week 18 against the Jags, but it's very doubtful, in my opinion. I believe that we're going to lose the Dallas game. I hope that the team does not get embarrassed. It kind of seems like they might, but, we will see with that. I will be at the game. Hopefully I'm not leaving in misery, but, it kind of is what it is at this point. I left in misery against the Jacksonville Jaguars game. I left in misery when I watched the Texans game on Christmas Eve. It was not a very Merry Christmas with that. So we will see. Dak Prescott is having a pretty good season. Dallas Cowboys in general is having a really good season. They are second in the NFC East, and they are looking to make their playoffs, and they should have a good run. Well, they got a really good running back duo and Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, and they have good wide receivers, especially in CeeDee Lamb. They have a good tight end. I just don't know with this injury-riddled defense what they're going to do to stop the run, to stop the pass, to stop the tight ends, and I just don't see. And the Dallas Cowboys have a pretty good defense. I'm not going to say that they're elite, but they're one of the top 10 defenses, I would say, in this league. If you want to put them in the elite category, then go for it. But I'm just saying that they're good. They're not great. They have their flaws, especially in the passing game, but the Titans are not going to pass the ball, so it really doesn't matter. So all the Dallas Cowboys really need to do is stack the box and make sure Derrick Henry doesn't run. But on that note, look, like I said, the Houston game didn't matter. The Dallas game didn't matter. So really, what is the point in playing your players? Now, I've seen reports, we get practice at the 25 player injury list that is out. What's the point of playing these guys? You don't want to get them. You don't want them to be hurt. You want them to play in the game that ultimately matters, which is Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's resting Jeffrey Simmons. That's resting Derrick Henry. That's resting the game, the people that really matter, that can get you that win in Week 18. You need them to be fully healthy, because we all know that Derrick Henry can run on the Jacksonville Jaguars. He did it a couple weeks ago, and he can do it again, especially in an environment that is warm, that is tailored to Derrick Henry, where he can run wild. And plus, it's his homecoming. He's from Jacksonville. So there's nothing more that would be great than a Derrick Henry-led Titans win. So I believe there's going to be a lot of starters that are rested. Kevin Byard came out and said that he's going to play, but I believe that most of the Titans starters are going to be rested. And hopefully, as Titans fans, as NFL fans, we see that the Titans can come back and take over that AFC South. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are coming, ladies and gentlemen. They're not here just for 1 year. They're here to stay behind Trevor Lawrence and a up-and-coming Jaguars team. So we shall see them. It's going to be more like that Titans-Colts matchups that we've seen in years past. Aaron, good Lord, Andrew Luck. You had Peyton Manning or whatever. Phillip Rivers, and they're trying to come up. Now it's a competition between the Jags and the Titans, unless the Titans can't get their stuff together. So, all right, moving on. We talked enough about the Titans. It's pretty sad, anyways. But let's talk about Christmas. Everybody loves Christmas. I want, as people who are watching the show, I want to know what you did for Christmas. What did you get for Christmas? What did you watch? What's your traditions? We talked about that last week. Of course, I told you we always watch Christmas Vacation on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase on Christmas Eve, and we got to do that, played some games with my family. And one thing that is really good, and hopefully you all notice, is I got a new microphone. It's a Rode microphone, mini microphone for the desk, and got my headphones that go with it. I already had them, but we have better quality now coming into the podcast. Hopefully it's more enjoyable to listen for everybody. And so that was really exciting. My parents got that for me. So let me know something that you got. What was the best thing that you got? Did you get Nashville sports merchandise? Did you get Tennessee Titans, Nashville SC, or Nashville Predators? I pretty much got one of everything. I didn't get any Titans things though, and which at the moment I'm more or less okay with that. But I got a retro version of the Nashville Predators shirt with the upside down triangle and the silver version of the Predators logo. I got a Nashville SC koozie that has a mountain range on it. That was really cool. I got a Smashville with the Stadium Series I got that beanie, and it was a really good Christmas. So I hope you all enjoyed your Christmas and had a very Merry Christmas. Enjoyed your time with the family, and are looking forward to that new year, because I know I am. 2023 has a lot of things to look forward to. I am in school. For all those that don't know, I go to school at Full Sail University, and I have getting my sportscasting degree. So I will be graduating this year. So hallelujah on that. My wife, Jordan, she is graduating from University of Cincinnati and getting her board certified behavioral analyst degree. And she'll graduate in May. She'll get her boards. She'll get a new job coming up in May or June. So a lot of things to look forward to for us, for me, my family in 2023. So I hope you do too. This podcast will continue in 2023. It's not going to stop. So every Tuesday, look forward to it, because it's coming into your YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter. It's coming your way. All right. So now the Nashville Predators. Moving on. The Nashville Predators. They're really just. Look, I already said it's Judgment Day. It is what it is. You got to blow it up. You've got to just clean house. And that even starts with the general manager, David Poile. If he's not going to do it, then the owner, CEO of Sean Henry, he's got to bite the bullet and just start anew. Okay? David Poile, he's not making good decisions. He's tried his best, but it's time just to restart. John Hines needs to go. He's not getting this team to do what they need to do, okay? He's made the playoffs, but that's because he inherited a team that was good enough for the playoffs. But he's not done anything in the playoffs. He's not won a series, okay? He's come into playoffs with tough matchups, such as 2020, losing out in the whatever you want to call it, the playing game for the bubble against the Arizona Coyotes. And then you come into the next year where he lost in the first round to the Carolina Hurricanes in a wild, shortened season. And then, last year, who did he lose to? He lost to the Colorado Avalanche in a sweep that just really, they didn't show anything. And then it follows into this year where you're 32 games in and you're pretty much 500. You've won 14, you've lost 13, and you've gone to overtime 5 times and lost. So you're a total of 33 points. You're 6th place in the Central Division, and they're looking down. They're not looking up. They're not doing good. They went 0-1-1 last week. I'm sorry. They beat Chicago. They lost in overtime to Colorado, and they are what they are. Okay, they're 1-0-1 in the last week with their 2 games. They've got a couple games coming up this week. And, what is it that's special about the Nashville Predators? Tonight they have the Dallas Stars, who are top in the Central Division, one of the tops in the league, and we all know what happened the first times they played Dallas. They got absolutely creamed, and that's exactly what's going to happen, in my opinion, tonight. Okay, they're still not bringing up their prize, prospect, Philip Tomasino, who just continues to do well in Milwaukee. They bring up Tommy Novak, who's a forward. He's been doing okay. They have these young guys, but they don't bring in the special guys like Philip Tomasino, who's supposed to take this team over and be what Philip Forsberg is for the team now. And they're just not doing it. They're letting him develop. They're letting the team develop, and they're going nowhere, like I've said. So, what do you want to see from the Nashville Predators? What do you want as fans of the team? What do you want as viewers of my show? What do you want from this team to do? Do you want them to blow it up? Do you want them to continue what they're doing with the mediocre style of play that they're putting on display every night? They're not playing great defense. They're playing moderate. Okay, goaltending with Saros getting better as the season goes. That's typical for him. They're not scoring enough goals. They're one of the bottom of the league in goals scored. They're getting a little bit better on the power play. So as we're reaching the new year, okay, what is the New Year's resolution for the Nashville Predators? Okay, is it, keep it what you got, try to make the playoffs and see what happens? Is it blow it up, restart, sell all your assets, keep what you got, and then try to build your prospect pool in the draft, and just go from there? What do you want? Do you want them to go for it and try again, yet another year of trading for somebody at the trade deadline and really doing nothing with it? Okay, that is exactly what's happened. In my opinion, I think it's time to call a timeout, accept what you've done, accept your losses, and move on. Because, Philip Forsberg, he just signed his new contract. Roman Yossi is his third year into his new contract. Matt Duchene is his fourth or fifth year in his contract with the Preds. Ryan Johansson is nearing the end of his contract, so I think it's time to sell what you can sell, take management control, and just rebuild through the draft. You know, you're already one of the bottom of the league, and it's not a good look for this team, especially for this fan base who has so much expectations for this team ever since 2017 when they made it into the Stanley Cup final. And since then, they've done nothing but, I don't know why I can't look at the standings, but they've done nothing but disappoint. You know, all the way back from Winnipeg losing in the playoffs to, you know, first round exits ever since. And this team has just been very disappointing. All Nashville teams right now that can't score on offense, their defense is becoming lacking, and they're just not winning games. Maybe they all just need to restart. You know, this team at one point in Tennessee, I think it was last season. Okay, the Tennessee Titans were number one in the AFC. The Memphis Grizzlies were number one in the West, and the Nashville Predators were number one in the Western Conference. All of these Nashville teams, there's those dogs again. All these Nashville teams or Tennessee teams were tops in their leagues or their respective divisions or their respective conferences, and yet here we are to this day. Now, Memphis is number 2 in the Western Conference in NBA, but the Tennessee Titans have fallen in the AFC South. Right now, they're right behind the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Nashville Predators are 6th in the Central Division. Without really hope of doing anything special with that. Look, I don't know what you want me to say about the Nashville Predators. Okay, they're not playing the physical team like, you know, with Yakov Trenin or Tanner Janot, where they're playing that bully ball, we'll call it, where they're banging here and they're banging there, checking on the boards and being very good on the forecheck. It's really sad to watch. You know, they'll get ahead and then all of a sudden they let the teams come back, just like the Colorado Avalanche. They were winning, and then they were winning 2-0. In the third period, Colorado came back, scored 2, and then scored in overtime to win the game. This Nashville Predators team is just not getting the job done, and it's time to clean house. Okay, I'm done with this team talking like that. I'm done talking about what kind of hopes can you bring from this. The on-ice performance is just not good enough. You're not getting the results from your high-caliber players. You know, I thought with this microphone that a lot of the noise, outside noise, like the dogs barking out there, it would really eliminate. But really what it is just lowers the volume of them. But, you know, it is what it is. So, you know, we're going to push through like we always do. We love them. Maybe they're commenting on the show. They want me to say something special for them. So, you know, they had a good Christmas too as well. We'll just go ahead and throw them into it. They got lots of toys that they really enjoy. Some of them are already torn up. But look. All right, back to the Nashville Predators. I'm done with talking about their stats. I'm done talking about their players. They're not good enough. They're just not good enough. I don't know what you think that they might be good enough at, but I've got to tell you that you're wrong. Look, the most goals for this team is Nino Niederreiter, your second-line winger. Not Philip Forsberg, not Matt Duchene. It's 11 goals of Nino Niederreiter. Okay? Roman Yossi has 19 assists. Forsberg has 9 goals. Through 32 games, he's not even eclipsed 10 goals. Roman Yossi has 7 goals. Duchene has 10 goals. Nino Niederreiter, like I said, with 11. This team, there's really no offense, and that's really the driving force of why this team cannot win games, is because they cannot put the puck in the net. Okay, it's evident that, you know, with the stats, you know, this time last season, 32 games in, Philip Forsberg was a point per game player, with most of those points being goals, or like matching, about 50-50 as matching assists for goals. Roman Yossi was well over a point per game, as was evident when he finished the season with 95 points. So it's really the same story every week. You know, the Preds will win 1, lose 2, win 2, lose 1, or, you know, if they have 4 games, it's 2-2, 1-3, 0-4. You know, this team, the common theme is just inconsistency, and it is what it is at this point. And man, I don't know what these dogs are barking at. There was a FedEx truck that drove here earlier, and they didn't even stop at our house. you know what they did? They just drove by and they started barking. So these dogs are getting out of control. They need to be quiet. I'm doing a show, and they need to have some respect. So, I guess something's going on now. But we'll pause and let them figure it out. So, I guess they didn't like the show today. But look, that's what it is for the Nashville Predators. They're just not good enough, and I don't know what to tell you other than, their New Year's resolution should just be to rebuild, restart, find their prospects and assets through the draft, through trade, and just redo it. Get rid of John Hines. He's not doing enough. Get rid of David Poile because he's been the only GM in the Nashville Predators history, and I get their sentimental value there. Okay, he's started you. He's been through the ups and downs, all the ebbs and flows. He got you to the Stanley Cup final, but what has he done since? Nothing really. Okay, and then I get that's also on the head coach. He's fired the head coach. But look, if John Hines goes, I believe that David Poile has to go because his decision making and his staff of evaluations, developments, they all need to go. Just really start new. And, look, the NHL is getting rid of their Adidas brand. So maybe what the Preds need to do is they just need to start all new. They get new jerseys, they get a new coach, they get a new GM, and then they build new with young faces, young energy, and, we as fans deal with what it comes as it comes. All right, so last thing we're going to talk about today is the Capital One Orange Bowl with the Tennessee Vols and the Clemson Tigers. That is on Friday, the December 30th. Okay, what a game that this is going to be. But, as you know, Hendon Hooker is not going to be in the game. Joe Milton will be there. My brother really had a funny comment the other day. He's you can label him as Overthrow Joe. He's got a great arm. Let's not deny that. He's got an arm that he can throw for days. Look, there was even a video on Twitter that I saw the other day that was hovering the media, and where Joe Milton took an orange and he threw it, and he basically threw it the length of a football field. I mean, that is absolutely crazy. Okay, look, he can throw it a mile, but he's very inaccurate. So, and Jalen Hyatt's not going to be playing in this game. He's going to go to the draft, as is most of the players in these high caliber bowl games. They want to rest themselves for the draft, and that's fine. That's what they want to do. But why not showcase your skills on one of the highest level competitions and platforms that a college football player can have? And that is what the Orange Bowl is, as one of the highest bowls that a team can have, as Tennessee finished the year ranked 6th. And, Clemson Tigers are a really good team. They got a good defense. They got a good offense. As long as DJ Uiagalelei is not playing, that this Clemson team has a really good chance to beat Tennessee, especially with the injuries that they have and the people that are resting. But besides Jalen Hyatt and I believe Cedric Tillman, I don't know if he's playing or not. I can't remember. But, the Tennessee Volunteers offense is not going to be what you think it is. They're resting a lot of players. And this Tennessee team is rare. Okay? Tennessee teams you've seen of old, they are inconsistent. Look, they don't have a good defense this year, but they've played good enough in some games, especially the Alabama game this year, to where they've warranted good success, and they deserve the success. They started the year, they couldn't even get a sack against Ball State, and they followed it up with getting good sack numbers for the rest of the season, and they were one of the best, at least in that totals, in the SEC. But the offense, you know what it is. It's high power. Throw the ball down the field, run and catch it. They've been able to run the football at times, and this team, especially behind Hendon Hooker, has been rare. The Tennessee Vols, Tennessee faithful, has not seen this kind of offense in years, probably since Peyton Manning was here in the 90s, or when they won the championship in 1998. Look, we're not going to say that it feels like 98 because obviously they're not going to the national championship. They're not playing in the playoff. It is what it is. But this Tennessee team has a good chance of winning a great bowl game, but I don't understand why the receivers are not playing. I don't understand, why you want to rest yourself for the draft when you have the chance of doing something this team has not done in years. You win the Capital One Orange Bowl, this trophy goes back to your school. It becomes history, but if you didn't play in it and you didn't help your team win, with this reason, I don't think the Tennessee Vols can win this game. I think they can get close. I think they can play good enough to do okay, but I do not think the Tennessee Vols can win this game because, you look at the Clemson Tigers, they're not resting as much. They don't have those high caliber starters like the Tennessee Vols do, that going into the draft through the defense, through the offense, especially the offensive line on Tennessee, who has one of the better offensive lines in the SEC. I don't think that you see this team getting over the top and beating Clemson. It is what it is for me. Hopefully, when we talk on the show next Tuesday that we do talk about a Tennessee win, but I just don't think so. But, let's talk a little bit about what the Orange Bowl is. Okay, the Orange Bowl is the Orange Bowl. Look, 2 teams playing in the Orange Bowl that are predominantly orange. Tennessee Vols, orange, which are very bright orange. And then the Clemson Tigers have a little bit of a darker orange that are more like a burnt orange. We're not really going to call, I guess you could call the Texas Longhorns more of the burnt orange, but it's a darker orange that Clemson is. But how ironic is it? Two teams that are orange playing in the Orange Bowl. This is probably the orangest Orange Bowl that you will ever see, at least to this point. It's going to be a good game. You're going to, as a fan, you're going to enjoy good football, but with this defense being... most of their starters are going to play. They're just not good enough to withstand a good passing attack that Clemson can provide with their backup quarterback that has played with, I think his name is Kubelik. And he did well enough in the ACC championship game against the North Carolina Tar Heels to where he got them the game and they won the ACC championship. So it's going to be a good game, like I said. Can this Tennessee team, can the defense do enough to hold so the offense can run? Look, if Joe Milton is on target, I firmly believe that the Tennessee Vols can win this game. But it all is going to depend on what Joe Milton can do. Can he be accurate? And it's just he's not, in my opinion, in his college career, he's not gave you the right opinion to be trustworthy of him. And I think that is going to continue on Friday. But it's going to be a wait and see approach. We'll see. Hopefully we're talking next Tuesday about a Tennessee Vol win, but I don't believe that is so. So, all right, well, that is it for the Nashville Native this week. Stay tuned next week for next Tuesday for another edition of the Nashville Native. I'm your host, like always, Justin Hawkins. If you're new to the show, please follow along on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram for all things Nashville sports content. So I hope you have a good rest of your week, a good and happy new year, and we'll talk to you next week. Stay tuned.